Support for WUWM podcast comes from Hop Harvest and Vine and Good Harvest Market in Milwaukee, part of One Destination, combining farm-to-table dining, local craft beers, and organic groceries under one roof. More at goodharvestmarket.com.
Lake Effect brings you conversations about what's happening in Milwaukee and the people, places, and organizations that shape the community. This is Lake Effect Spotlight from WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR.
Millions of Americans and thousands of people in Wisconsin are struggling to get food. Because of the federal government shutdown, funding for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, has run out. 2 federal judges ordered the Trump administration to use emergency funds to pay for the program. But SNAP beneficiaries will get half of the usual benefits, and it's unclear how long these funds will take to arrive. In Milwaukee, food pantries have been trying to keep up with increased demand. The House of Peace on West Walnut Street is the largest food pantry in the city. It serves more than 18,000 people a year. WUWM's race and ethnicity reporter, Teran Powell, is joined by Armondo Diaz, the pantry's coordinator, to learn how the House of Peace is managing the uptick in people they're serving.
First, everybody was in a panic where they's like, well, there won't be any more food stamps on my card. There won't be any money left. So everybody was just panicking automatically. And then once they realized it's just delayed, and then I think people realized, like, you know what, maybe I don't need to do as much at the food pantry as possible, because the first week or two, everybody was coming in here, you sure I can't get extra? You sure I can't get extra? And then we had to remind people, like, we give you maybe a week worth of supply. We're not just like a full grocery store, right? And then once people realize, again, it's just a delay, then people was like, okay, we understand it. But that first week, oh man, I'd have thought that, like, maybe the apocalypse was coming. Like, people was about to take all our food. But typically around the first, second, third, that's when sometimes people get food share. So that's like a quiet time for us. So we maybe get 25 to 30 households that come in for food pantry. But because everything is delayed, we've been consistently hitting 90 to 100 households every single day. We're lucky that we're one of the food pantries that, outside of government funding, we kind of got our own funding, because pantries that's in the area that rely on government funding, they have been closing down because they're not able to sustain the amount of traffic that's been coming in. And we're one of the food pantries that we're an emergency food pantry. So whenever you call 211, which is like an emergency assistance in Milwaukee or Wisconsin, so if you need help with anything in Wisconsin, then you call 211. And 211 referred them to us. So you can imagine the amount of phone calls they receive every day. And the first answer is, go to the House of Peace. Go to the House of Peace. And we're one of the food pantries that we're not just open 2 days a week or 1 day a week. We're open Monday through Friday from 8:30 until 3:30. So people been coming to us consistently. And then we are a food pantry that we don't just give you a bag of canned goods. We also give you a bag of, like, meat, where it could be like family pack pork chops, chicken. We try to give you some fresh vegetables and some other things involved with that, because if you go grocery shopping, you know one of the most expensive things is when you purchase the meat. And so we try to take that burden off of people. But you know, sometimes strong people need help too. So we've been calling around because we need a little bit more money. We need a little bit more help, because imagine a pantry only serving 25 a day or 40 a day. Now that number has been tripled. So, and that's where that's one of our problems right now, where we're trying to gather up food, but we also don't want to turn people away.
What are some of the things, I don't know, are you looking for from the community? Are you looking for funds, specific food? Tell me what the needs are there.
Yeah, so we got in the habit of telling people, you know, it's easy to just write a check. Mm-hmm. Right, that's easy. But that doesn't necessarily help us. The best thing to do is just get the food, right? And then some people, I always tell people, even when they drop off stuff, like, drop off the food, because now you can see the people that you're helping versus just writing a check, right? And I'm not saying that it doesn't come from the heart, But to me, sometimes it means a lot more when you could just do the job by yourself, right? Because sometimes that means a lot more, because now it gives it a little bit more meaning, right? And it's more personal, right? And more intimate, than just, here's a check, here's some money. Because we still got to process the check. We still got to go buy this stuff. And by that time, we probably be running out of food. So it's easy, throughout the day, just drop off like canned goods. It could be corn, it could be canned green beans, peanut butter, cereal, pancake mix, things of that nature.
I guess in the same vein, with you guys needing help, does that mean like things are down to is it getting bare?
We don't want to be reactive. We'd rather be proactive, right? Because now if we're reacting, you're in trouble, right? Because now you're trying to scrape up food and stuff. And we, at the House of Peace, we don't just give people anything to say, you know what, this is what we have left, here you go, right? We kind of have a good reputation in the community, right, where we give out good stuff. And we know that our bags are filled with a lot of groceries. We typically try to give out around like 60 pounds of groceries, right? So, which is a good, healthy thing, right? So we don't want to all of a sudden come from 60 pounds to 30 and they looking like, what's going on with that House of Peace? Like, pray for the House of Peace. We don't want that. We do not want that. So we want them to be able to, still have what we offer every single day, right? We still want to give them groceries with kindness and love and all that good stuff, and be able to help their house out. We don't want them to have to come from this pantry to this pantry to this pantry to supplement stuff. Like, we want to be able to help as much as possible. But again, every day we get volunteers in here. They pack the bags up and we prepare for a mass amount of people. But only way to do that if we have the food, right? So we order a lot, but there's no way, none of us could have predicted this would happen. And it's hard to predict the volume of people I'm gonna get every single day. So even when I'm doing my ordering, I do it predicated off of the stats. But yeah, this is something that I couldn't even prepare for, because every time I do my order, I say, okay, last Tuesday we did 50 people, but then now this Tuesday we did 100 people. So you see, so the numbers are crazy. I can give you just these numbers right here. So like last month, we did 800 pantries. Well, the month before we did 800 pantries. Since the shutdown, we did 1,400 pantries. So you see the increase in numbers. Well, we got stock boxes, which is something that's like the pantry, but it's more predicated towards the seniors, 60 and up. It's just low sodium stuff. So like the month before the shutdown, we did 104 boxes. Now we did 265 boxes. So you see the numbers just keep increasing. So yeah, that's why we also need help. Strong people need help too. Check on your strong people.
And when you say you did like 800, 1,400 pantries, does that just mean how you describing the food you're giving away?
No, that's the households. If you want to put a number to people, it's over 3,000 people. And if you want to put another number to it, so people that typically come here for food pantry and it's their food share month, maybe 115 at best. This last month alone, since the shutdown, 475, right? Even families that come here for baby formula, right, probably get 5 or 6 families at best. We was at 30-something families that came here for formula. So everything is just increasing in volume.
In my head, when I hear you saying those numbers, the word I want to use to describe it is like, this is a dire situation, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. So how would you describe the current situation that you guys are in? And I guess other food pantries as well.
Well, you could say dire, right? We're in a crisis, right? We're trying to figure out where we gonna get this food from, how we gonna get this food, and everything. But I don't know if I can say this, but we just believe in just the grace of God. Like, God would make a way. He will provide. That's my boss's favorite thing. She was like, God will make a way. Like, as long as we doing what we have to do, when we service the community through from our hearts and stuff, he'll provide. But I also know he'll provide some checks and some food. So, no, but, because it's a constant where, because we do have donors that donate money. So we go get stuff from Walmart and Pick and Save, and it's a warehouse down the street. So I got to constantly drive down to the warehouse. You think it's a lot of food, it just gets us by throughout the day. And I don't want to keep living, day by day, right? We want to be able to make sure that we got a comfortable amount of food, so we don't have to kind of think we in crisis right now.
Any additional thoughts you want to share?
Just that, don't assume that the pantries are okay, because yes, the government with the shutdown, you think that only affects food share benefits, but that also affects the agencies that's able to provide the food to those food pantries, the hunger task forces, the Feeding America, because that's also government funding too. And just don't assume that they're okay, because they're affected as well. So they're limited to the amount of food that they can give to those food pantries also. And I just say, if you see somebody that need help, and if you're in a position where you can help people, then help people.
Armondo Diaz is the food pantry coordinator at the House of Peace in Milwaukee. He spoke with WUWM's race and ethnicity reporter, Teran Powell. You can find our ongoing coverage of the local impacts of the federal government shutdown at WUWM.com.
You can find more interviews like this one by visiting WUWM.com/Lake Effect. And while you're there, subscribe to the Lake Effect Spotlight podcast.
Sources and methods, the crown jewels of the intelligence community. Shorthand for how do we know what's real? Who told us? If you have those answers, you're on the inside, and NPR wants to bring you there. From the Pentagon to the State Department to spy agencies, listen to understand what's really happening and what it means for you. Sources and Methods, the new national security podcast from NPR.